Hi, I'm Skyler. Welcome to AGamCG, and today is day 15 of my 30-day sculpting challenge. The prompt for today is hands. We are officially halfway through the challenge, and I think that's a pretty big deal. This is the most consistent I've been with anything that isn't obligatory. For this one, I wanted to pick something that is genuinely difficult. So I chose something that is notoriously hard to sculpt and guaranteed to push my skills. I gathered a ton of reference, and at some point, somehow this made things worse. There are so many approaches to sculpting hands: separate shapes, a single mesh, female hands, male hands, stylized, realistic, character hands, creature hands, thick hands, long hands, soft hands, stubby hands. I ended up with too many options and too much unfocused reference. And in the world of characters, everything has hands. So I picked a few references to sort of anchor to, and I just dove in. For my first attempt, I tried to block the hand by using something similar to the anatomy for sculptors approach. I broke it down into the two main palm masses, the wrist, the knuckles, the forearm with that little protrusion, I believe that's called the ulnar styloid process, and then added fingers in sections. What I didn't realize was how much of a time sink this was going to be. I spent almost 30 minutes just posing and moving around the fingers, trying to learn how to use polygroup, masking, and using the transpose tool before I even really started sculpting. Next thing I knew, I had 15 minutes left. I was fighting Dynamesh, fixing holes in my mesh, and because my palm was too thin, I kept punching through the opposite side while sculpting and spending all my time trying to fix this. In the last 10 minutes, I panicked and I rushed in whatever forms I could, and then time was up. I felt pretty bad about this one. I had sort of the beginnings of a hand, but the pose wasn't great, the forms weren't great. It sort of just looked like a hand made of mud, but I wasn't satisfied, and I wasn't giving up. So I tried with a different approach. This time I started with a fleshy cube flattened from a sphere. I pulled out fingers, inflated them, adjusted them, then pulled out the wrist and forearm. I masked and polygrouped the fingers to make isolating them easier. At this point, I think I'm doing so much better because I'm starting sculpting with 30 minutes left instead of 10, which already felt like a huge improvement, even though I hadn't posed it yet. I spent some time on the thumb. Why does it have to be so different from every other finger? I marked in the knuckles to give the fingers more structure and know where everything is, and then I used transpose and masking to start posing them. This still took a ton of time, just at a different point in the sculpt, but I had more control and a better understanding of what the tools were doing. It's kind of annoying jumping between Control-Shift clicking to isolate polygroups, rotating the wrong way, and masking the wrong section. It's a lot to juggle. I don't even know if the gizmo tool is better or I just don't know how to use it properly yet. In the last 5 minutes, I was rushing again. In the final minute, I tried pulling out fingernails with a different method, and then time was up. This one was slightly better than the first one, but still pretty rough. So I thought, third time's the charm. This time I made sure the starting cube was thicker. I pulled out the fingers, positioned them, inflated them, marked the sections, added tendons on the back, and curved the palm using the bend curve tool. While positioning the fingers, I learned that you can actually use a transpose tool to mask by holding Control, which was a huge discovery. To get the old behavior back, you just have to switch brushes. These are little things that made a pretty big difference. Then I pulled out the thumb. At that point, I was finally in a good place with about 30 minutes left. I still ended up spending about 10 minutes just on the thumb, and eventually I had to move on just to reset my eyes. Instead of Z remeshing, I used Sculptress Pro this time, which was great for speed and managing resolution. It's honestly pretty handy. With about 10 minutes left, I worked on tendons and some of the larger muscle forms, then added the nails, which again took way longer than I expected. With about 2 minutes left, I rushed in some final forms and time was up. But this time, at least, it read as a hand. It still needs a lot of work. The primary shapes need to be a lot more refined before even thinking about secondary details. I've seen some people try the approach of using Z-spheres, which seems like a really fast way to pose them, though I'm curious about the downsides. Personally, I like to sculpt as if I'm using clay because I feel like that approach is more transferable to if you were to actually sculpt in real life. and there are no Z-spheres in real life. Between these sculpts, I watched a bunch of physical hand clay sculpting videos, and I wonder if that had impacted my work more than I had realized. This one was tough. No wonder why so many people say that hands are difficult. Anytime you see someone create hands and make it look easy, I've got to hand it to them. They're a master. But I'm really glad I challenged myself. Hands are inevitable and fundamental to sculpting, especially characters. Thanks for watching. Your support on these videos genuinely help to motivate me to keep improving. If you have any ideas for what I should sculpt next or feedback, throw it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on day 16.